Right now, someone is watching you. Not the government, not a spy, something far older. The primal human urge to be alone. A corner of the world that belongs only to you. Today, we have doors, locks, headphones. But have you ever wondered, when humans lived in a cave with 30 others around one shared fire, how did they ever find a moment of solitude? This is the story of privacy before privacy existed. And it's stranger and more fascinating than you'd think. From roughly 200,000 years ago until about 10,000 years ago, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, small bands of 20 to 50 people constantly on the move. No homes, no rooms, no doors to close. Sleeping, eating, crying, laughing, all of it happened in front of the same faces every single day. Archaeologists studying these groups almost never find evidence of separate sleeping areas, just one shared space where everyone piled in together. So did these people even feel the need for privacy? Some anthropologists argue privacy isn't natural at all, that it's a byproduct of civilization, property, and social status. Even today, certain communities in the Amazon and Papua New Guinea have almost no concept of physical privacy. Everything unfolds under the eyes of the group. But that doesn't mean privacy didn't exist at all. It just took a completely different shape. It wasn't built into walls or doors, it lived in human behavior. Anthropologists call it civil inattention, the silent agreement to notice yet pretend not to. Strangers in an elevator, someone crying on a train, we deliberately look away. In small tribes, this unspoken rule was a matter of survival because prying or gossip could genuinely fracture the group. So early privacy didn't live in walls, it lived in the mercy of other people's eyes. Then came the turning point that changed everything: agriculture. About 12,000 years ago, humans began settling down. And the moment they had grain, land, and livestock, they had something to protect. Because at its core, what is privacy? Control. At sites like Çatalhöyük in Turkey, nearly 9,000 years old, we see distinct zones appearing inside homes for the first time. Sleeping areas, cooking areas. The house was becoming, for the first time, a container for the self. Now, toilets, because this part is genuinely surprising. In ancient Rome, public latrines, the foracae, were long stone benches where people sat together, chatted, gossiped, sometimes even struck business deals. There was no shame attached. Romans were actually proud of their sanitation. The wealthy naturally avoided all this: private chamber pots, servants, separate chambers. Money has always bought privacy, and that equation hasn't changed to this day. In Egypt, ordinary families lived in one or two mud brick rooms, but the elite had sprawling villas with separate rooms for guests and a hidden world reserved for family. And here's the most striking part: Egyptians extended privacy into death itself. The tomb was called the House of Eternity, sealed forever. They wanted privacy so badly, they built it into the afterlife. In Mesopotamia, where cities like Uruk housed up to 50,000 people, the Code of Hammurabi contains a startling law. Anyone who broke into a home was executed and buried inside the very wall they'd broken through. Nearly 4,000 years ago, the sanctity of the home had already become law. In Greece, public life unfolded openly in the agora, but the home, the oikos, was an entirely different world. Male citizens moved freely between both. For women, that same home became confinement. Their privacy wasn't a choice, it was a restriction imposed by society. In Rome, the home, the domus, was carefully divided. The front for visitors, the private garden and bedroom at the back reserved only for family. Roman law considered the home the safest refuge a person could have. And then, the deepest layer of all: inner privacy. The private letters of the Roman statesman Cicero to his friend Atticus still survive today, letters he explicitly said were meant for no other eyes. Publicly, a man of supreme confidence; privately, consumed by anxiety and self-doubt. Almost two different people living inside one man. So what does all of this ultimately tell us? Privacy isn't a modern invention. It's a fundamental human need that has simply changed shape across every era. Hunter-gatherers carried it in their behavior, farmers built it into their walls, empires wrote it into law. But there's a harder truth too. It never was shared equally. The wealthy got more of it, women got less, and the enslaved got none at all. Privacy has never truly been a right. It has always been a privilege, one that every civilization had to earn, build, and defend in its own way. So the next time you close your bedroom door, put on your headphones, or simply sit alone for a moment, Remember, you're part of one of humanity's oldest and deepest dramas. A human being, thousands of years ago, sitting by a fire, wanting exactly the same thing you want right now. Just 1 minute. Alone.